Brutus, I do observe you now of late. I have not from your eyes that gentleness and show of love as I was wont to have. You bear too stubborn and too strange your hand over your friend that loves you.
Cassius, be not deceived. If I have veiled my look, I turn the trouble of my countenance merely upon myself. Vexed I am of late with passions of some difference. Conceptions only proper to myself, which gives some spoil perhaps to my behaviors. But let not therefore my good friends be grieved, among which number, Cassius, be you one, nor construe any further my neglect, than that poor Brutus with himself at war forgets the show of love to other men.
Then, Brutus, I have much mistook your passion, by means whereof this breast of mine hath buried thoughts of great value, worthy cogitations. Tell me, good Brutus, can you see your face?
No, Cassius, for the eye see not itself, but by reflection by some other things.
'Tis just, and is very much lamented, Brutus, that you no such mirrors as will turn your hidden worthiness into your eye, that you might see your shadow. I have heard where many of the best respect in Rome, except immortal Caesar, speaking of Brutus, and groaning underneath this age's yoke, have wished that noble Brutus had his eyes.
Into what dangers would you lead me, Cassius, that you would have me seek into myself for that which is not in me?
Therefore, good Brutus, be prepared to hear. And since you know you cannot see yourself so well as by reflection, I, your glass, will modestly discover to yourself that of yourself which you yet know not of. And be not jealous on me, gentle Brutus, were I a common laugher, or did use to stale with ordinary oaths my love to every new protester. If you know that I do fawn on men and hug them hard, and after scandal them, or if you know that I profess myself in banqueting to all the rout, then hold me dangerous.
What means this shouting? I do fear the people choose Caesar for their king.
Aye, do you fear it? Then I must think you would not have to so.
I will not, Cassius. Yet I love him well. But wherefore do you hold me here so long? What is it that you would impart to me? If it be aught toward the general good, set honor in one eye and death eye in the other. And I will look on both indifferently. For let the gods so speed me as I love the name of honor more than I fear death.
I know that virtue to be in you, Brutus, as well as I do know your outward favor. Well, honor is the subject of my story. I cannot tell what you and other men think of this life, but for my single self, I had as lieve not to be lived to be in awe of such a thing as myself. I was born free as Caesar, so were you. We both have fed as well, and we can both endure the winter's cold as well as he. For once, upon a raw and gusty day, the troubled Tiber chafing with the shores, Caesar said to me, "There's thou, Cassius, now leap in with me into this angry flood, and swim to yonder point." Upon the word, accoutred as I was, I plunged in, and bade him follow. So indeed he did. The torrent roared, and we did buffet it with lusty sinews, throwing it aside, and stemming it with the hearts of controversy. But ere we could arrive at the point proposed, Caesar cried, "Help me, Cassius, or I sink!" I, as Aeneas, or our great ancestor, did from the flames of Troy upon his shoulder, the old Anchises bear, so from the waves of Tiber did I tired Caesar. And this man has now become a god, and Cassius is a wretched creature, and must bend his body. If Caesar kerosene but not on him, he had a fever when he was in Spain. And when the fit was on him, I did mark how he did shake. 'Tis true, this god did shake. His coward lips did from their colour fly, and that same eye whose bend doth all the world did lose his lustre. I did hear him groan, aye, and that tongue of his that bade the Romans mark him and write his speeches in their books. At last it cried, "Give me some drink, Titanus." As a sick girl, ye gods, it doth amaze me a man of such feeble temper should so get the start of the majestic world, and bear the palm alone.
Another general shout? I do believe that these applauses are for some new honors that are heaped on Caesar.
Why, man, he doth bestride the narrow world like a colossus, and we petty men walk under his huge legs, and peep about to find ourselves dishonorable graves. Men at some time are masters of their fates. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves that we are underlings. Brutus and Caesar, what should be in that Caesar? Why should that name be sounded more than yours? Write them together. Yours is as fair as name. Sound them, it doth become the mouth as well. Weigh them, it is as heavy. Conjure with them. Brutus will start a spirit as soon as Caesar. Now, in the names of other gods at once, upon what meat doth this our Caesar feed, that he is grown so great? Age, thou art shamed. Rome, thou hast lost the breed of noble bloods. When went there be by an age since the great flood, but it was farmed with more than one man. When could they say till now, that talked of Rome, that her wide walls encompass but one man? Now is a Rome indeed and room enough, when there is in it by one only man. Oh, you and I have heard our fathers say, there was a Brutus once that would have brooked the eternal devil to keep his state in Rome as easily as a king.
That you do love me, I am nothing jealous, but you would work me too, I have some aim. How I have thought of this and of these times, I shall recounter hereafter. For this present, I will not, so with love I might entreat you, be any further moved. What you have said I will consider, what you have to say I will with patience hear, and find a time both meet to hear and answer such high things. Till then, my noble friend, chew upon this. Brutus had rather be a villager than to repute himself a son of Rome under these hard conditions as this time is like to lay upon us.
I am glad that my weak words have struck but thus much show of fire from Brutus.
The games are done, and Caesar returning.
As they pass by, pluck Casca by the sleeve, and he will, after a sour fashion, tell you what hath preceded worthy note today.
I will do so, but look you, Cassius, the angry spot doth glow on Caesar's brow, and all the rest look like a chidden chain. Calpurnia's cheek is pale, and Cicero looks with such fiery eyes as we have seen him in the Capitol, being crossed in conference by some senators.
Casca will tell us what the matter is.
You pull me by the cloak. Would you speak with me? Aye, Casca, tell us what have chanced today, that Caesar looks so sad. Why, you were with him, were you not? I shall not then ask Casca what had chanced. Why, there was a crown offered him, and being offered him, he put it with the back of his hand, thus, and then the people fell shouting. What was the second noise for? Why, for that too.
They shouted thrice. What was the last cry for?
Why, for that too. What was the crown offered him thrice? Aye, Mary was, and he put it by thrice, every time gentler than the other, and at every putting by, my honest neighbor shouted.
Who offered him the crown?
Why, Antony. Tell us the manner of it, gentle Casca. I can as well be hanged as tell manner of it. It was mere foolery, I did not mock it. I saw Mark Antony offer him a crown, yet 'twas not a crown neither. 'Twas one of these coronets, and as I told you, he put it by once. For all that, to me thinking he would fain have had it, then he offered it to him again, that he put it by again. But to my thinking, he was very loath to lay his fingers off it. And then he offered it the third time, he put it the third time by. And still, as he refused it, the rival men hooted, and clapped their chapped hands, and threw up their sweaty nightcaps, and uttered such a deal of stinking breath, because Caesar refused the crown that had almost choked Caesar. For the swounded, I fell down at it. For mine own part, I durst not laugh for fear of opening my lips and receiving the bad air.
But soft, I pray you, what is Caesar swooned?
He fell down in the marketplace and foamed at mouth, and was speechless. 'Tis very like he hath the failing sickness.
No, Caesar hath it not, but you and I, and honest Casca, we have the falling sickness.
I know not what you mean by that. Well, but I am so sure Caesar fell down. If the tag-rag people did not clap him and hiss him, according as he pleased and displeased him, as they used to do their prayers in the theatre, I am not a true man. What said he when he came unto himself? Mary, before he rolled down, when he perceived the common head, was glad he refused the crown. He plucked me out his doublet and offered them his throat to cut. And I have been a man of any occupation, if I would not have taken him at a word. I might go to hell among the rogues. And so he would fell. And so he fell. When he came to himself again, he said, if he had done or said anything amiss, he desired their worships to think it was his infirmity. 3 or 4 wenches, where I stood, cried, Alas, good soul, and forgave him all with all their hearts. But there no heed to be taken of them. If Caesar had starved their mothers, they would have done no less. And after he came, thus sad away, Aye,
Did Caesar say anything?
Aye, he spoke Greek.
To what effect?
Nay, and I tell you that I'll never look you eye in the face again. But those that understood him smiled at one another and shook their heads. But for mine own part, it was Greek to me. I could tell you more news too. Marulus and Flavius, for pulling scarves off Caesar's images, are put to silence. For you well, there was more foolery yet, and if I could remember it.
Will you sup with me tonight, Casca?
No, I am promised forth.
Will you dine with me tomorrow?
Aye, if I be alive and your mind whole, and your dinner worth the eating.
Good. I will expect you.
Do so, farewell both. What a blunt fellow. Is this grown to be? He was quick, mettle when he went to school.
So is he now in execution of any bold or noble enterprise. However, he puts on this tardy form. This rudeness is a sauce to his good wit, which gives men a stomach to digest his words with better appetite.
And so it is, for this time I will leave you. Tomorrow, if you please to speak with me, I will come home to you, or if you will, come home to me, and I will wait for you.
I will do so. Till then, think of the world. Well, Brutus, thou art noble, yet I see thy honorable metal may be wrought from that is disposed. Therefore, it is meet that noble minds keep ever with their likes. For who so formed that cannot be seduced? Caesar doth bear me hard, but he loves Brutus. If I were Brutus now, and he were Cassius, he should not humor me. I will this night in several hands and at his windows throw, as if they came from several citizens, writings all tending to the great opinion that Rome holds of his name, wherein obscurely Caesar's ambition shall be glanced at. Then after this let Caesar see him sure, for we will shake him, or worse days endure.